Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to another Aroma Talk. Today we have a beautiful, beautiful guest, Mona from Kierin NYC. Thank you for joining us, Mona.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Appreciate it. Love to be with your people as well.
Sure, sure. You know, it's since I started doing these podcasts, I feel like it's, first of all, it's been super fun because I had a really one-on-one time to sit down and understand from content creators to Cubano, Max 40 to perfumers to just really understand what's happening, how the creations are made, what is the idea, philosophy behind everyone's mind, and it's been super educational. So I hope I learned a lot of things, and I hope audience out there also learning a lot of things that they're entertained. And also it's always great to have perfumers or brand owners like you to come to MaxAroma and we talk about
inspiration.
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
That's what you're offering the world.
Exactly.
So thank you for making it a little bit of a better place for all of us.
Yes, of course, of course. And, you know, and also one more thing that I always, you know, even from my perspective or standpoint, I was always struggling to make if I'm going online or I'm shopping or even in boutiques or stores, when you go in, there's always a lack of education or love or passion when you're about to purchase something. Maybe it looks nice, but you don't know the story behind it.
Yeah.
So these type of sit downs and podcasts, they always bring that side out. So it makes, hopefully, it makes people and also the audience to educate themselves and make a better decision in their purchases.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting there.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, we are. Well,
yeah.
You know, and I think that is a defining element between sort of the masstige or designer fragrances that really leverage more sort of the visual aesthetic. Mm-hmm. So it's all about sort of a, quick 5-second video or a snapshot of a beautiful girl stepping onto a helicopter off of a landing pad in Monaco, or some beautiful guy jumping off a cliff in Greece. Sort of that sort of one visual sort of story, as opposed to a niche fragrance or indie fragrances that take a more artistic approach in storytelling. And so that's not something you can really express in just one image or one little 5-second snapshot. So it's great to have podcasts and interviews and the opportunity to meet with people like you to really give a behind the scenes and much more of an informed perspective on what our process and purpose is with creating these beautiful perfumes.
Sure, sure. Yeah, 100% I agree. And that's what I love about it. As you mentioned, I think you always see Johnny Depp for Dior Sauvage. Yeah. Everyone has a bottle of Dior Sauvage at some point. Yeah. It's done. Let's move on to another fragrance. Yeah. So these stuff help for sure. So starting this, let me start with my first question. So give us a little bit of your story. How did you, when you started Kierin NYC, how did you start it, and how much you love fragrances? So, yeah.
Yes, I love fragrances. I could talk about that all day. But I also love food, and I love art, and I love New York City. And, I'm just a person that's full of good vibes and love and, positive perspectives on many things. And I think that stems from having had a very difficult childhood and sort of, some very poignant, difficult experiences in my youth, to sort of have that fighting spirit and wanting to always see the beauty in things. And from wanting to see the beauty in things to wanting to create beauty for other people to see the beauty in things, or to inspire or move people to sort of see the beauty, their own true beauty in things. So I think one of the reasons why I started this brand has to do with me finding my own purpose and this idea of legacy. I'm a mother. I had 2 children. And, I spent a lot of time in my life modeling, traveling the world, experiencing the best and the finest that all of this world has to offer, from mega yachts to, fine dining and everything you could possibly imagine, to understanding the true beauty that lies within and in the love that one has for your children and for people and planet, and wanting to sort of define my own purpose as to what I want to do in this world. Some people create weapons of war. Some people create, financial, wealth. And I just wanted to create some kind of a weapon for people sort of connecting with their own true self. Or I don't want to say weapon, but I think of fragrance as a little bit like an armor that you put on, or a fancy suit, or something that you sort of use as a tool to kind of get you into a emotional space or head space to go out and accomplish or do whatever that is that you want to do, whether it's, going on a date, to going to a wonderful job interview, to, whatever it is. And so I wanted to create something that I thought might inspire people. And fragrance has always been dear to my heart, and I thought fragrance would be a great way to do that. So I created the brand together with my husband initially back in 2017. And then, we launched the brand in the UK in 2019. And then I took over the brand in 2020. And now we're relaunching the brand to be more fully representative of my inspiration or my sort of take on the Kierin project, if you will. And so I'm very excited to reintroduce Kierin with this new line that I've created, and hopefully inspire people in the way that I always wanted to since the beginning with these fragrances, to really connect with themselves and live their best life through fragrance. Real New York City stories.
Yeah, I mean, and also most of the fragrances are inspired or based on in New York or New York stories. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
I think I read the first time that I think we didn't really have a chance to meet that time, but I saw your booth. It was at Scent Explore 2020 or 2019. I think that was the first one. 19 probably. And I think you were also on the panel. You were talking, and that was the first time. That was fun. And then I always wanted to work with American-based companies that everything is made here. And then so then I think a year, like maybe in 2020 or 2021, we got in contact. I was like, Mona, let's see if we can work on. And then you really have great creations. And I think every time we brought it on, everyone was very excited. So I'm very glad.
Thank you.
And I'm happy for this collaboration that we had together.
We're very careful about. Some brands, they bring on a whole plethora of fragrances, or they're launching a new fragrance every quarter. But the creative process that I have with the perfumers and our artistic contributors as well is very meticulous and well thought out. So we prefer to really focus on, what we're creating, that it's something that's very distinctive and unique, and so we take our time. So since the launch in 2018 with the original 4, we've been launching 1 or 2 a year, as opposed to, launching 5, them in dozens. So, it's sort of, we have we're a small shop, and we have a real love for the art, and so we take our time.
So I know you said you're working with perfumers. Are they? First of all, do you also? I think you mentioned this before, so maybe we can. We gotta say it. But you told me last time that you had one fragrance that you are actually doing it yourself. You're the perfumer behind that as well.
Yes.
Is that right?
It is.
Which one is that?
Santal Park.
Santal Park. Oh, which is I think one of the best sellers, and it's a very beautiful fragrance.
Thank you. It is a beautiful fragrance. Sandalwood, gardenia. I love I wanted it to be sort of the springtime soulful sister of Santal Park, or Santal Sky, sorry. So Santal Sky and Santal Park, there's sort of a sisterhood or, brotherhood. There's a communal essence, if you will, because the story of Santal Sky and Santal Park is one of peace and tranquility, which, of course, sandalwood is infamous for its ability to sort of bring a sense of calmness and well-being and peace. When you smell it, it's just kind of like viscerally, kind of brings you to an altered state of consciousness, I think. But trying to find something that I thought would freshen it up and make it somewhat different. I think the gardenia note is not often something that you find combined with sandalwood. It's a very green, herbaceous, but then a white floral with a sandalwood is somewhat uncommon. And so I thought that would be interesting and also a great way to sort of give it that springtime vibe that I wanted. And I'm also working on another Santal, which will be my summer Santal, which I'll be releasing next spring. So I'll have the trio, and then I'll be able to sell them in a set. Sort of my Santal Sky, which is kind of a fall story and a fall vibe, with the cardamom and the saffron. And then my Santal Park, which is kind of the springtime. And then I have my other Santal, which will have a dandelion note, which is a very herbaceous kind of note, but also very bright. And so that'll be a really nice summer scent that I'll be releasing in February of next year.
I love all these Santals. They're beautiful. I think this was one of the fragrances that when I tried it, I was like, oh, this is such a unique and beautiful fragrance. And I know we were talking about this before, about when you're creating these fragrances, I'm sure you go through a lot of steps to, reformulation, going back and forth with perfumers to make sure it's unique to what you're creating. But then sometimes you go, send it to someone else and they try, oh, maybe it reminds me of this fragrance and that. But I think this one, there's nothing that I can compare it to.
Yeah. I mean, that's always, as an artist, there were generations of artists that came before you and generations of perfumers that came before me and before the perfumers that I work with. So there's always that possibility that, while you may create something that's unique to you, that it somehow heralds or sounds similar to some other art that was created by somebody before you. And so, whenever we're getting to our sort of last stages in the creation process, I love to sort of shop it around to different people that I have a high regard for, who have great sort of olfactive memory and can say, oh, this, they have a whole library of fragrances in their head or in their nose. Because sometimes they'll say to me, oh, well, that sounds like Le Labo, Santal 33, or that smells like, Frédéric Malle, Portrait of a Lady. I'll be like, really? Never, that didn't, I wasn't getting that. But then you say, okay, well, let me go and experience those, fragrances to the extent that they're still on the market. And then if they are a little too similar, then I'm like, all right, guys, back to the drawing board. What can we do to kind of add a twist, so that, because we definitely don't make dupes here. And Kierin, that's not, it's an art-inspired brand. We take our sweet time with each and every fragrance, and we're not trying to replicate other people's work, but to create our own work. But, that said, sandalwood is a sandalwood. So I'm sure there's many sandalwood fragrances that may come into the proximity of our Santal Sky or our Santal Park, and you would say they're cousins, but there's no dupes here in Kierin. Creating a sandalwood fragrance using New Caledonian sandalwood natural oils, is really important to me, because the experience of a natural sandalwood is nothing compared to a synthetic sandalwood. And yet, when I think about being a brand and sort of, wanting to be a people and planet kind of clean and conscious brand, it's very important to me that we do have a sustainable approach to how we source our natural oils. It's not because we're using natural oils that it's necessarily good for the planet. It's because we use, natural oils that come from suppliers that source them sustainably and support the communities with fair trade and education and financing and, replanting, reforestry, those kinds of projects that makes those, elements that go into our fragrance, better than just another sandalwood fragrance. So, that's sort of the business side of things and sort of my ethical approach, to perfumery.
For sure.
It's one thing, to create a sandalwood fragrance, but I wanted to create something that also wasn't going to be depleting sandalwood resources. But yes, you're always, your subconscious can always be influenced by, your past experiences, from your own personal memories to the experiences of fragrances that you've tried and loved in the past from other famous designers as well.
Yeah.
I'm always learning new things and, trying to do better and better. We recently upgraded our website and, to provide for more accessibility and things of that sort. But it's a constant, effort to always just try to do more.
And then improve yourself, the brands, and every year. Well, I mean, now talking about it, I think also this year you improved, changed the packaging, cap, and boxes and everything, and also, you're here now. We're going to talk about it. You have candles now.
Yes.
I see the new 100 ml packaging is out there. So a lot of new things.
Yes.
A lot of new exciting things.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we have the beautiful 100 ml. This is my Pier New York. It's a really wonderful summer fragrance. But the 100 ml is a really beautiful high gloss bottle. So the finish on our bottles is really improved significantly with the UV coat as well to protect it from UV rays. And we also created a custom cap made out of solid wood. So it's our signature cap, similar to our former cap, which was metal, but it had a plastic interior. And so I wanted to get rid of that plastic. And to be a little bit more eco-friendly, I created the wood cap. And then we have our candles, which are really, I love my candles. I'm a big pride and joy of candles. This boxes. I mean, look at this beautiful box. Beautiful
and thank you for giving one to me. I took it home and I turn it on every night. It smells so good. I love that. The one that you gave me is Santal Sky.
And Tene and Flirt is the two ones that I have right now. Hand poured, high quality, soy based, as well as a very high quality fragrance oils. So I really, no holds barred. I think I created a magnificent candle on par with some of the best candle makers in the world. But trying to do it in a way which would be more accessibly priced because our containers are, simple glass, sort of minimalistic stock glass containers. Yeah.
I mean, everything that you have in the line is very reasonably priced.
Thank you.
Very good quality, very reasonable price. I mean, I think the 50 mLs are about $140. Is that right? Yep. And how much are the 100?
It's between $220 and $240.
Beautiful.
Depending on the fragrance.
Yeah.
So.
And how much are the candles?
Well, that's the benefit of also not having my own store.
Well, yeah.
So I'm not supporting, the real estate. My real estate is online and with my partners, kind of helping them spread the message. So I'm able to give back a little bit by really having this very high quality premium fragrance in packaging, which is eco-friendly, but also reasonably priced.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And how much is the retail for the candles?
74.
Beautiful. So Yeah, I mean, you gave me this one. So what is this about? Give us a story
That's
about
Pier
this
New York.
fragrance. Yeah.
Pier New York. That is a fragrance that really is sort of telling that story of being better together after a long sort of COVID experience where everyone was isolated and, sort of apart from each other. This was a summer scent that was released that celebrates this idea that, okay, COVID has now passed. We need to come together, and coming together on the piers of New York, these beautiful, sort of outdoor parks that we have sort of running along the West Side Highway with that salty breeze, sort of the beautiful sunset in the afternoon with a warm ocean breeze, with the fragrance of the eucalyptus trees, a breeze that's traveled up the Jersey Shore to, this sort of concrete oasis that is Manhattan, and so it's a very salty, refreshing, and yet somehow comforting, embracing fragrance, especially in its dry down, sort of mid to dry. But the opening is, very sharp and salty and refreshing. So it's I really felt compelled to make this fragrance after everyone, and the pain that everyone has experienced of loneliness, kind of being separated from each other during the COVID pandemic. I think Pier New York really celebrates that reunion, that coming together. And it's just a really lovely all-weather scent.
Oh, yeah. So. And I think you can wear it, as you mentioned, all year round.
Yeah.
It's cozy, it's welcoming, it makes you put a smile on your face as soon as you try this fragrance. Yeah. And you kind of can't stop smelling it. I'll be happy again, let me try it again. So, yeah.
A little hit to your amygdala.
Yeah. Beautiful. So let's try more stuff. We tried Santal. Which one we tried again?
So here, let me give you a little opposition here.
Oh,
Let's try the Nitro Noir.
Nitro Noir, yeah.
Yeah, you're feeling like a baddie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I remember this one. When we had it, when we tried this fragrance, and I was talking to Jennifer. I was like, this is a very outgoing, clubby, late night kind of a fragrance. Yeah. You dress up, you're ready to go, you want to have a great night, and that's what she made that video to. That this girl wearing a leather jacket, putting makeup on, and is ready to go.
Exactly. So, yeah, you guys did a wonderful video. I love that. So there's no leather notes in it, but you have the patchouli, the pinkberry, the orris root. There's a little bergamot in there to add a little zing. It really is that bold statement
piece.
Yeah. And I think I consider it a modern patchouli. I think the bergamot does something to sort of add a sort of an edge to the patchouli, so it's not sort of your grandma's sort of patchouli. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a sort of a ethnic patchouli. It's really more of a city. It's definitely got that city vibe to it. It's a really nice scent. Really great for going out in the evening. And then here's another one.
Yeah.
Do you have one of those other scent cards?
Oh, yes, it was here.
We'll steal one from Mimo.
One from Mimo. Yeah.
I love their fragrances too. Their packaging is cute.
Yeah, they actually do a great job as well.
Yeah. So this is one of the limited edition bottles that we created for our Clear collection. It kicked off 2020 this year.
Yep.
And the idea was since our launch, people have always seen our fragrances behind the opaque veil. We wanted to do this limited edition fragrance to give people the opportunity to see the beautiful ambery juice that lies within. And that one is definitely also kind of that New York night vibe, but on the boozy sort of ambery, boozy, gourmand.
Is it the booze? Is it rum?
And it's cognac.
Cognac,
Cognac, frankincense, myrrh, Davana. It's really, we created this one for the Scent Explorer. And when I was kindly asked, as sort of the Scent Explorer is an event that happens every year in New York, and being a New York brand, Max Forte was kind enough to ask me to create a fragrance that would sort of be the signature fragrance of Scent Explorer for last year, and I was honored to do that. But also I thought to myself, okay, I've got a bunch of niche heads who are going to be coming to this event. I better put my all into it. So this one really, full stop, is an amazing, olfactive experience that kind of has a lot of personalities. From the open to the mid to the dry. It really evolves. So it's very artistic fragrance.
What is that? The booziness is, of course, their amber. There's something that is gourmand. Maybe. Like, what is that sweet thing?
You have wild honey.
Wild honey, yeah.
Dried apple has a bit of sweetness to it as well. Yeah.
Is this? Do you still have this in stock?
I still do, but now it's no longer available in the clear collection bottles. It's in the regular line now.
Yeah. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
I mean,
Jérôme Épinay, he's a wonderful, he's created fragrances, in Byredo and Atelier Cologne, and, he's a 2-time award-winning Fragrance Foundation perfumer, celebrated perfumer. So he's, graced us with his labors. He's doing really wonderful work, and we're grateful to have him on the Kierin team.
Beautiful. No, this is, as you said, for niche heads, they would love this.
Yeah.
They would go. And also, this was a great time to release it. It was December, if it gets to that colder time of a month or year.
Yeah, but I didn't want to do like Christmas tree. I wanted to do something different. So I think that's a great fragrance. Yes, more for the cooler, cozier months, but really for any time you're kind of going out for that special evening occasion, and you want to feel very empowered, sophisticated, chic. This one is kind of a story of love gone bad. This is my rose ink, which ink is sort of, as in tattoo ink, it's part of the tattoo art collection, together with my Santal Park, with the white tattoo and the black tattoo. But I really wanted to create something that was a very masculine rose, sort of with the saffron and the white leather, and something that was inspiring this sort of eyes wide shut desire. So something that was not too sweet as a rose, but definitely a rose fragrance that men would wear, because I think it's such a shame that in Western cultures men have often been told that a rose is a note for the ladies, and truly, and many other cultures don't, have that bias, and they have other points. And I mean, rose is just a gorgeous note. It's just
and I think because of that, a lot of perfumers, a lot of companies, they just made the floral or rose fragrances more feminine. And it was never that approach, so a guy can wear it. But now I see, I was the same thing. Even though, like, I'm from Iran, in Middle East, rose is actually any floral scent. It's very normal for a guy to wear. And but then when I moved here, I was nothing rose for me. But I mean, I also been here for a long time, so I got westernized a little bit. But now it's especially niche or fragrances, it's a different approach, and I'm wearing it now. I'm actually enjoying it. So
one of the fragrances that inspired me to create the rose ink was a rose oud fragrance, but oud is not really a note that I plan on using in the Kierin line, because we are more of a New York City sort of urban brand. But I just, I thought to myself, there has to be a way to create a very sort of gender inclusive, somewhat more stereotypically masculine rose fragrance, you know, without using oud necessarily, but, you know, and I think Jérôme, again, Jérôme Épinay just nailed it with this. The first time that I smelled this, initially it was a little bit, you know, we did have to go back and forth a few times, but of all my fragrances, I think this one had the least iterations, because I just think he just hit it out of the park, you know, pretty early on in the creative
it's beautiful.
process.
I love. I mean, it's also like doing saffron, rose. It's that it sounds very strong and too sweet, but it actually it's not. It's very rich. I don't know. There's like some sort of green or cardamom notes in it. I don't know. There is a bit. Yeah, you're right. I love that. I think that initial spray was that, and then it kind of goes to rose and saffron, which is lovely. It's a
very long-lasting fragrance. I mean, all the Kierin fragrances are 20 to 30% concentration, so, you know, borderline extrait, you know. But all of the fragrances, except for maybe the Sunday Brunch, which being sort of a citrus freshie, it lives its longest life really in the mid to dry down with the tea-based notes and the citrus scent sort of. Here, I'll give you a shot of it.
Sure. So how did you come up with the names, like Sunday Brunch?
Everybody who lives in New York knows what Sunday Brunch is all about.
That's true.
Whether it's a Monday or a Wednesday or any day of the week, you know, Sunday Brunch is a state of mind. It's sort of your getting together for that sort of, you know, decompression, that celebratory meal with your city family, and kind of getting
after a long Saturday night
partying, or even midweek. You know, it's just that Sunday Brunch is really that opportunity to get together with your family and friends and kind of commune.
Yeah.
So it's the idea, like when you think about the Sunday Brunch olfactive experience, it like hits you with that cheerful greeting, that citrusy, joyful, lemony, zesty hello, and then you settle in, you know, to your white linen table and sort of, you know,
champagne,
have your little busy, and then kind of you have your nice tea, and, you know, you sort of that warm, embracing tea note, and then the jasmine sort of in the, you know, the goodbye, that sweet goodbye with the little jasmine underling there. So
when I smell this, you know, this is definitely what I imagine as. I mean, now after COVID, when you go out, especially in summertime, sitting outside on the sidewalk, on the street, in a very nice restaurant, or in a hotel on the rooftop, and having a great brunch time, and, you know, this is what you want to feel. It gives you that.
It's sophisticated. It's cheerful. It's kind of European in some regard, you know, because it's a very sophisticated, cheerful fragrance. But
you know what it reminds me now, actually, as you said, sophisticated, chic, or like day kind of a fragrance. I was 4 or 5 weeks ago, I think I was in Cabo. I stayed there for a week. I think Cabo, they made it for all the celebrities and rich people from California, but they just did it in Mexico. The hotel or the people that they were there kind of remind me of that place. I think this fits there.
This, you know, it takes place sort of, the story takes place in the West Village in New York, but I did get some inspiration from my many afternoons in my, you know, sort of with late brunches at Bilboquet on the Upper East Side, which, you know, I got that Bilboquet vibe as well. So beautiful.
Oh, by the way, is this the first podcast that you ever done? Or you've done podcasts before?
I have done a few podcasts before, and I just, you know, whether it's a podcast or a live, I mean, I just love meeting with everybody and meeting with you, and I love, you know, answering questions. You know, if anyone from the audience has questions and they send them in to you, I'd be happy to answer them following up. But it's just great to be able to share the line. So whether it's in a podcast or in a Instagram Live or a video on YouTube. So I've done a few of them, and I'm going to be starting my own podcast soon.
Yeah.
Sort of whisper behind the scenes. You'll be the first to know. Kierin is launching a podcast. It'll be a monthly podcast called Philosophy of Fragrance.
Beautiful.
So, and that's really because I really enjoyed doing podcasts with other people, and I just thought it would be really fun to meet with other brand creators and content creators to talk about not just the experience of fragrance, but their philosophies of fragrance. Sort of a different approach. So we'll be, experiencing different scents, but it's not really about reviewing fragrances, but really more about sharing, what your philosophy is on fragrance and what it means to you, and how it moves you, and how it inspires you to, be more present and conscious and, more self-aware, what fragrance, is for you.
Beautiful.
So.
I love the name, Philosophy of Scents. Is that right?
Philosophy of Fragrance, yeah.
Philosophy of Fragrance. That's pretty cool. So I'm excited. I'm definitely going to make sure that I, log in and watch that.
Yeah.
This
it's just, a little 20-minute, micro podcast, if you will. So it's just, really wonderful to kind of touch base with the brand creators and content creators for a little 20-minute behind the scenes, or, kind of getting their take on their philosophy of fragrance. So it'll be fun.
Yeah. And just letting everyone know that we are actually bringing kind of everything on MaxAroma.com as well. So the 50 ml, the 100 ml bottles, and the candles will be available soon. So if you guys are interested, please buy all of them.
Yeah.
I think they're very good. Yeah. And I think, that's it. I think, I'm excited. I'm excited for the new fragrance that actually coming out as well. Yeah. And hopefully, once we are done with the whole construction, we can do like an event as well. Maybe we do a meet and greet with you here, so we can invite some of the people to come in.
That'd be fun.
I think it'll be a fun thing to.
I'm next door practically.
Yeah,
I'm in Harlem and you're in.
So that's easy too.
So exactly.
Do it. And then, I would love to do a giveaway at the end of every podcast, because we talk about all this stuff. So, whoever.
Yeah, I would love to help sponsor a giveaway with one of our 100 mLs.
Sure.
To give an opportunity to get the word out on our 100 mLs. That'd be wonderful.
Okay, so then thank you, Mona. So, Mona is. So we're going to do. Let's pick.
Look at this packaging. So beautiful.
I know. It's such a beautiful.
Yeah,
and I love, how the outer box feels like.
Yeah, the velvety touch.
It's a velvety
But the other thing that's I love is this. I put it in sort of, if you can see that, a lot of times the bottles, they go in the same shape as, but here I put it in sort of as a diamond, sort of heralding our zigzag sort of chevron. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we are giving away this bottle, and also let's just add maybe 5 discovery sets in there as well, because I kind of want you guys to try the whole line. And so please make sure, first of all, follow Kierin NYC on your Instagram account. Any other platforms that they can follow?
Well, you can you can sort of join. You can be an early joiner of the Philosophy of Fragrance, which is just newly launched. And of course, you can always join me at Mona Mandubiran. I have my own blog, Manhattan Minds, that I sometimes write about, my thoughts on the beauty industry and different art galleries and art spaces and artists of New York City in my blog, Manhattan Minds.
If you guys are interested, please go to all of them and check them out. And and also make sure that you subscribe to this channel, leave us a comment and like this video, and let us know if you have ever tried any of the fragrances from Kierin NYC, which ones you guys like the most. What is that you know, from our conversation that was most interesting and you guys are curious to know about, and yeah, just have some conversations with us down there. So you know, we can
happy to answer any questions
for sure.
Sounds
And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you again, Mona. It was always a pleasure. It was lovely to meet you. It was a beautiful chat, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Okay.
Well, definitely.
Sure, of course. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.